Hi, my name is John Weber and I want to welcome you to Lowcountry Connect. This is the only show that's going to talk about the lifestyle, the culture of the Lowcountry of South Carolina. I cover real estate, taxes, restaurants, you name it, and we pretty much cover it on this YouTube channel. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing. You can always give a thumbs up, make a comment, or even share. It does help the channel. I'm going to go over the 2021 year-end wrap-up, and I'm going to talk about later in the video statistics, what's going on in the marketplace. I'm going to give you some of my projections for 2022. I'm here in mid-January of 2022. 72 degrees, not bad, just beautiful. Stick with us and let's do this. Okay, to begin with, we all came out of 2020, the pandemic year, and we were surprised as realtors. A lot of people came down, vaccinated, unvaccinated, didn't matter, came down, bought real estate in 2020, finished out the year strong, and all of a sudden 2021 started, and we didn't know what to expect, actually. But in early spring, a tsunami of people came down primarily from the north and the upper Midwest. And I mean, it was serious. They came down, they had sold their homes up north, they had cash, and they were buying everything in sight, and it got a little crazy. Latitude Margaritaville, Hilton Head, and Sun City Hilton Head really, I think, got the brunt of all of those sales because that's the majority of the market. That price range of $400 to $500, $550 right in there, and they just bought everything. It was unbelievable in the spring. And the 55 plus communities sold a lot of real estate. So did other places like Hilton Head Plantation. The price point is right there, and the luxury communities did very well also. Well, that transitioned into the summer. And in the summer, it just got a little crazy because of the hysteria of the buyers, the sellers trying to get top dollar, agents running everywhere, and loan officers, realtors. It actually kind of got ugly, and it really wasn't good for anybody because it's not a normal market condition. And that's what really happened in the summer of 2021. And inventory was really picked over quite a bit. And you would write an offer and there would be 20, 30 offers on a house. It didn't really matter if it was on Hilton Head Island or in Bluffton, Latitude, or Sun City, or wherever it was. And it was pretty unbelievable. So that took us through the spring, entering into summer of 2021, and all of a sudden, what I always call the big three, which is Berkeley Hall, Belfair, and Colleton River, they raised their fees. All three of them, or I'm not going to be precise here, but they all raised them to $40,000 one-time fee because they saw what was happening and people were buying left and right. A lot of the initiation fees do go into the club capital fund, and I'm not really going to get into all that, but they did start raising their fees, and two of them announced they were going to start renovating their club and enhancing their amenities, which is fine, but that's what was going on in the summer. And as we went through the summer, I'm not going to go further into the big three because I'm going to create a video a little later in the spring here about their fees and exactly what they're renovating and enhancing amenities. But as we got through that, towards the end of summer, a lot of people came down and they were discouraged because the inventory had been picked over. And I know myself, I drove clients around for 3-4 days and looked at a lot of houses, and they didn't really care for anything, and they went back up north. And some of them I did not hear from again. And they probably are staying up there. Maybe they're going to another area. That's what happens a lot of times, that you'll look for another area on some of the criteria that you're looking for. So surely they wouldn't go get another realtor, would they? No, just kidding. Anyway, we had a lot of complaints from people on real estate agents because of just this frenzy. And I've always found that if you're not exactly sure what you're doing, you can get yourself in trouble with contracts and showings and all kinds of things. So that was going on as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over the statistics that I wrote on this card directly out of the MLS for Beaufort County, Hilton Head Island, Bluffton, Okatee. That's within our MLS system, and these are actual numbers. So I'm going to start here with single-family homes, the availability of single-family homes. In 2020, at the end of the year, we had 910 single-family homes on the market. In 2021, at the end of the year, we had 415. That's a drop of 54%. Currently, there's about 200 on the market right now, just so you know. Now, listings will be coming up in the spring because these homeowners know people will be coming down. It's a very busy time, so listings are coming, but these are the actual numbers. The percent of list price received in 2020, it was 97.6%. In 2021, it's 99.1%. People always ask me that question, so that's an important number. The median sales price for 2020 was $365,000, and the median sales price for 2021 was $406,000. Inventory down, price is up. The average sales price in 2020 was $505,000. The average sales price in 2021 was $603,000. That's an increase of 19%. Days on the market in 2020 was 144 days on the market until it went under contract. In 2021, it was 101 days on the market. Inventory of homes. In 2020, we had, at the end of the year, 1,122 homes. In 2021, 553. That's down 50%. Pending sales. 2020, pending sales, 6,889. Pending sales in 2021, this is at the end of the year, 7,050. Closed sales, 2020, 6,044. In 2021, 6,712 closed sales in the year. Those are the MLS numbers comparing 2020 to 2021, which is important to consider. So, with all of that said, the key takeaways for 2021, hopefully we can apply some of this knowledge that we've learned in 2022. But number one on my list here, you cannot time the market. You just can't do it. You can't sit there, well you can, but it's not a good time. Sit there and wait for the market to change and time it. It's just really difficult to do. It's difficult to do all over the country, let alone the low country. So you can't time the market, we got to say that. The next thing is just be careful with a real estate agent in this crucial market condition of a seller's market, exactly what real estate agent you are dealing with. Because it's a known fact nationwide, in 2021, 40,000 real estate agents got into the business. That's a fact. So just be aware of that. And sometimes negotiation is a huge thing. And somebody that's experienced and has done a lot of negotiation Obviously, that's the most important thing because both sides are negotiating back and forth, and you want a real pro on your side. Just a little footnote for you. When you're on Zillow, seems the whole world is, and you see a listing you like, and you know inventory's thin, and you call that agent who has that house listed or home site listed, you are calling the representative of the seller. They work for the seller. They're trying to get the best dollars for the seller, and you are the buyer calling them. They can, if we get that far down the road, slip into what they call a dual agency where they're representing both sides. Pretty tricky to do. Unless you have a lot of experience, you can get a little bit tricky in there. So just be aware of that South Carolina does have a buyer's agency arrangement to where you can have realtors like myself, my team, the John Weber team represent you and go find a home where you have somebody looking after your best interests. So just be aware of that. Prices aren't going down. I don't know why they would. Now, they're not going like that. I think now we're just kind of stair-stepping a little bit because some of these, I've noticed some of the people that are listing their houses, sometimes they list it too high and it doesn't sell, and it's a slippery slope coming back down because you got to lower the price. Everybody sees it. Oh, he listed it too high, lowered it, then he lowered it again and again and again. So it gets a little crazy. So prices really aren't going down, but I don't think the extreme hysteria is going to return. It's just going to be an active market. The other thing I wrote down here is there's really no place perfect, and there's no home perfect. And I always I tell people about a checklist, your positive and your negatives about the area of the country that you might want to retire in or relocate or second home. What's positive, what's negative. Same thing with a home or a home site, a community, gated community, because a good house is never finished. And you've always got some work to do to make it your own property. So if you don't like, for instance, in Sun City, there's a lot of homes with a popcorn ceiling, but it's a great house, scrape it off. That's all I can say. A lot of times that's going to be between $7,000 and $10,000 just to scrape off the popcorn. Depends on the square footage, but I'm just ballparking that number for you. So predictions for 2022, don't really have a crystal ball, but before the pandemic, it was known nationwide that the builders were not building enough homes. That's a fact. Now you got supply chain issues. You've got houses closing and they don't have the proper stove to get a certificate of occupancy. They have to take this stove, put it in that house, get it, put it back in that house. The other one's going to come, it's going to be delivered. There's all kinds of things going on now. So supply chain problems are going to affect construction. Latitude Margaritaville, I know for a fact they were taking 100 contracts a year. Now they're taking 40 because construction can't keep up. The market is a strong seller's market. Real estate is cyclical, so we don't know what's going to happen down the road, but everybody I talk to, mortgage lenders, I made a video recently about Mortgage Network and their predictions, strong real estate market nationwide. We happen to be in an area where people want to come down here and retire or play golf. And that's just kind of different than moving from Columbus to Pittsburgh because of a job. It's just different. You got a lot more people coming here. So something's going to have to upset this whole thing, and I don't know what that can be. On the financial crisis, insiders saw it coming, but other people didn't, and things crashed. So it would have to take some large event to upset this at the moment, is my prediction. Come down to the low country, inventory's coming, people are going to be listing their properties, and you can buy a home down here, whether it be in a gated community or 55 plus, whatever you want, luxury golf, doesn't matter. Come on down, contact the John Weber team. We will take good care of you and guide you to the right areas and the right home. You must be aggressive when you find something you like, or it checks most of the boxes for you. And that means making a good offer and coming in strong, because other people are looking at the same house. When I show property these days, there's always realtors coming in and out of the door, and I don't see that changing. But there'll be listings, there'll be inventory, so come down to the Low Country. We will take good care of you, and we will find your dream home in 2022. Always loved even numbers. 2022, gonna be a great year.